What will Sanford look like 4 years from now if you are elected mayor?
I think they've forgotten who the customer is, and the customer is the citizen.
Can we stop calling us customers? We're constituents. Holy shit, Tina Fey is running. The Flock. Ever heard of these guys? We are all the way flocked up. This is our area right here.
Old Faithful for me is hot Asian buns.
I remember when this place was an empty lot, convenience store, and now this place is really cool. Check it out.
I need to talk about the last Saturday at West End. People show up and they're like, here's a 50, just keep playing while you're playing. And that happened to me at least once a month. Just having a LinkedIn page in your Ballotpedia is not great no matter how you slice it. Mr. Antonio Pizza. That's the guy's name, and that's him. The way he smiles, it makes me feel like it's like a Tim and Eric bit. Is it just me, or did the city start getting more active after that Q&A? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the Sanford Sitdown. Good Lord. Everything happens right when the show starts, right? There we go. It's a little bit better. My name is DJ Zwain. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Whether you're doing it live or you're doing it in the recording or you're doing it in the podcast or you're doing it on the shorts because you see it on the shorts. Not my shorts, your shorts. The short form content, not your underwear. Anyway, hi, I'm DJ Zwain, and this is the Sanford Sitdown, episode 12, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Mad Voice and Data Consulting for Business for being the title sponsor of the program. We appreciate you. Check out Patrick Antonio and check out his website. Check out his writings. He's got good writings. We have a lot to talk about. This is going to be a little bit of a longer show than I'm used to for this particular program. But we're going to get through it because we need to, because there are things that if you are doing a program about a town that you kind of have to, this is part of the job is to kind of just, know what's going on with the local government, local stories, that kind of thing. We're going to go over the mayoral debate, obviously. That's what we're going to close with. We're going to talk about who else is running. We're going to do a food review. We have a new food review that I just did today. I didn't know what I was going to do this weekend or even earlier. I woke up this morning going, all right, I did the show prep for the Sanford Sitdown. Everything is good. I'm gravy, right? Wrong, because I have to do this little food review thing, which you guys apparently really dig. Because that is, between that and the political stuff, that takes the cake as far as like popularity is concerned. The other stuff gets some traction, but holy crap, man, you guys like your food. And thankfully, I live in a place that has an abundance of good food. So we have a great food review for you. We're going to talk about the Flock cameras. The Flock cameras are in Sanford. I don't know if you've heard about this nationwide pandemic. Law enforcement is using supposedly for our safety, but also to stalk their ex-girlfriends. There's been a bevy of people that use their badge and their access to our private information to look at their ex-girlfriends and stalk people that they deem necessary to stalk. And that, my friends, is not a free society if you ask me. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the Scout rides. The price has surged. So we're going to look at two different videos about this. So it's both talking about Scout and the average wait time. Let's actually go into the first one here, because the average wait time for Scout ticks down, but Seminole County riders want more efficiency. So this came out, I believe, today. This is brand new from News 13. Shout out to News 13.
How long are you willing to wait for a ride to get to work? Well, some Seminole County residents say anything close to an hour is just too long. But that's the reality for many after Seminole County switched from Lynx bus routes to a new on-demand service that's known as Scout. Our Sarah Winkleman, she is joining us live tonight in Seminole County. Sarah, I know that you did a deep dive into this, into the specific numbers. Exactly how long are we talking?
Tammy, according to data from Seminole County, they said the absolute longest wait time recorded waiting for one of these vans to show up was 2 hours and 28 minutes. But some good news here, the average wait time this week is about 42 minutes. They're getting much closer, but still some work to do on their goal of 30 minutes or under. But passengers that rely on the service say something needs to change now.
It's the first task of the morning. Before the dishes and the coffee, Sheila Long books her morning Scout ride.
I really like this idea and concept.
Sheila can get her morning routine done while she waits, but the challenge is after she books, the arrival time fluctuates.
So it says 2 stops before me, 15 to 25 minutes.
15 to 25 minutes.
That for at least 15 minutes now.
Sheila lives in Castleberry and works in
So 15 to 25 minutes plus the 15 minutes that it's already been. That is, you'd be late for work every day.
Lake Mary. It's about a 20-minute drive.
With this service, I have to get up at least 2 hours earlier to try to make it to work on time with them.
It's the same waiting game she does to leave for work and to get her ride home.
The only thing that you can count on it is it being unpredictable.
On Thursday, Sheila booked her Scout just after 7 a.m., which according to data from Seminole County is within the morning peak travel times.
What Scout is not, it is not a replacement for Uber or Lyft. We are not competing with the commercial market. If you want 2-minute wait time, you use the commercial market. If you have time in your day and want to be more fiscally responsible in your own spending, or you can't afford to spend it, we are here for you.
Okay, I have a couple problems with that. Number one, it wasn't the bus routes were working not great, but from what I understand and from the people that have been using this, because I haven't used Scout yet, but from the people that have used it, from what I understand, this is a far worse option than even the city bus, which, by the way, city bus, abysmal. The public transit in Florida in general is abysmal. So this is actually supposedly, and in theory, I agree with Sheila, that in theory it's supposed to make it better. But you're underfunding it. You're doing everything this is literally the problem. It's underfunding. Like, you could do that with a fleet of cars, and you could actually compete with Uber or Lyft. Because if you're going to change what we've been doing for years, change it to something better. And arguably, from what I understand, from what everybody has been saying to me, I have not yet heard somebody that goes, no, I love that. I love that service. I think that's, and I could be wrong. Please tell me in the comments if you think it's wrong, if you think I'm wrong. But let's continue.
The county has increased their initial fleet of vehicles from 35 to 42. This summer, more will be added to bring the total to 49, which is expected to help wait times. There was also a software update last month to increase efficiency.
I think we have to be responsible about getting...
Were these people taking into consideration the number of people that actually use the bus? Because it doesn't sound like they have. It doesn't sound like they have.
People to and from work. I think we had some glitches in the beginning.
The county has seen progress. Looking at the numbers in February, the average wait was 53 minutes. It went down by 10 minutes over the next 3 months, while an increase in ridership with 23,000 passengers in February all the way up to 30,000 passengers by May. But riders that rely on it daily to get to and from work, they want more change, and soon.
You know, people that are already struggling, don't go out of your way to make their lives harder.
Yeah. Agreed.
And county leaders stand by their decision to make this big switch. They say that they are on pace for what they expected with the number of vehicles they would need by this point in the transition. They're also happy to hear that people aren't waiting out in the Florida weather anymore for those buses. But of course, we know, like we heard, those passengers still want to see some more progress.
Yeah.
The Seminole County leaders tell me that they didn't anticipate quite this many people riding because it's more than just the Lynx riders that made the switch.
Well, yeah, of course.
All right, Sarah, thank you so much for that report.
Why would you think that a new city program or a new county program or whatever it is, what makes you think that that this is going to attract less people? And if you're expecting to attract less people than the number of people that are, or than the number of people that you would think, where did you come up with that number? You know how many people we have here. You know how many people live in the county. You know what Lynx buses schedules were like, and what the number of people that use that. And you don't think that if I'm like, oh wait, there's a local, there's a city or a county run program that'll drive you the way Uber would? Of course I'm going to use that. Even if it's, a van, even if it's a rideshare, even if it's whatever. But you have to fund it properly. You have to give it enough people to so that you can, Seminole County, how many freaking people live in Seminole County? Hey, Google, how many people live in Seminole County? Oh, shut up. It doesn't understand. Whatever. A lot of people, all right? A lot of people live in Seminole County. Sanford alone is 65,000 people. Don't remove a program that was at least working and people were used to working and it not working, as it were, and then change it to something worse. That's dumb. Don't do that. So apparently that came out yesterday. Now, apparently there was another price change, I guess. Let's see. This says Scout Ride prices change in Seminole County. Here's what it means to you. Surcharges rises to $2.50 for regular riders as county aims to ease rush hour crowds. This came out a couple days ago. On Tuesday, county commissioners unanimously approved fare changes on the on-demand service, increasing peak hour charges from $1 to $2.50 for non-discounted riders during weekday commute, 7 to 9 p.m. and 4:30 to 6:30, where the surcharges take effect. The charge comes as Scout marks more than 8 months of operation, steady ridership growth, yes, that makes sense, and persistent criticism over long wait times. There you go. Peak surcharge, who pays more and who doesn't? Okay, higher peak hour surcharges, now $2.50 for non-discounted riders, is designed to do one thing: encourage riders making non-essential trips to book outside of rush hours, freeing up capacity for commuting to work. Or here's another idea: use more of those tax dollars that I've been paying and maybe add more friggin' cars. Chairman Andrea Herr put it plainly: if you have all day, then don't do it during peak hours, she said. Let the people that are having to get to and from work get to and from work. I would equate this to years ago when I had an elderly father and he used to say, when I go to the grocery store... Wait, hold on. I got to do my old man voice. When I go to the grocery store on Saturday mornings, it's too crowded. Well, Pop, don't go to the grocery store on Saturday mornings. You have all week. Let's figure out another time for you to do that. Yes, that's different. It's so out of touch. What do you think I want to do at 7:30 in the morning that I wouldn't postpone to... I'm trying to figure out what this lady thinks people do at 7:30 in the morning outside of going to work or having to be up. How many people do you think are going to bars at 7:30 in the morning? Or, hey, let's start our day drinking at 7:30 a.m. so we could be dead by noon. So yeah, this is just more coping for not using the money that's being taken from us on the things that actually help us. So part of the vulnerable population that this is targeted to, you're not affected. Assistant County Manager Kristen Swanson said, you don't get charged for that. That means seniors 65 and older, students, low-income riders, and person with disabilities, all of whom already receive 50% off base fares. They will not see their costs increase during peak hours. The county hopes for people who need Scout most, at least that's good, get a ride when they need it the most. That's a little bit better, but still, add more freaking rides. Add more. This is getting irritating. One of the things that our tax dollars are being used for locally that we may or may not want to do that with, flock. Ever heard of these guys? I believe this is a Peter Thiel outfit. Is this Peter Thiel's outfit? No, that's Palantir. That's different. So this little ditty here is all of the flock cameras that are installed by police departments all over the U.S. And let's just take one of the zip codes around here, Florida. Let's take a look-see and see. Whoop. And here we are. This is where all of our flock cameras are located. How about that shit? All right, here we go. Let's see. We have this one facing that way. Traffic camera. This is historic Goldsboro. This is 13th Street, Thomas Jr. Parkway or whatever. We have a lot here, guys. Analysis. Loading the cameras. Okay. Let me just see the map. So all of these cameras. This is Lake Monroe. Oh, this is right on the water. View OSM. What is OSM? Let's take a look. Oh, hey, look at that. That's pretty cool. That's dflock.org, by the way. And this just moved me over to OpenStreetMap. We are all the way flocked up. This is our area right here. This is technically... I'm just going to use Lake Monroe as a center point. Look at all of that. Look at all of these look at all of these flock cameras. Right there in Lake Monroe over here. What is that, downtown somewhere? Yeah, that's by the post office over here. 1984, if they were writing 1984, I think this would be too much. This would be too over the top. They probably thought, nah, that's too much. There's no way. The amount of surveillance that we have makes 1980, we wish for 1984 at this point. So yes, fellow Sanfordites, there are a bunch of interesting videos out there about flock cameras that had tipped me off to this, and man, this is just, it's not great. It's not great, guys. One of the things I wanted to go through, we're going to do the food review, and then we're going to do the candidates, okay? We're going to go through the candidates, and then we're going to hit the mayoral debate. But for right now, I need to talk about the last Saturday at West End. This Saturday is going to be my last Saturday, 5.5 years. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to have my Saturdays back regularly. I'm still going to do some Saturday work. I'll probably be doing something on Fridays and on Thursdays, right around there. So don't worry, I'm gonna be nearby. I've been wanting to do a couple of these things for about a year and a half now, maybe a little longer. I've been talking to these people about it, but whenever I'm allowed to reveal more, I will reveal more. It has been a great 5.5 years playing down the street from where I live, getting to play whatever I want basically, and partying with you guys. I mean, honestly, like, my favorite thing is when people show up and they're like, here's a 50, just keep playing what you're playing. And that happened to me at least once a month. A 50, a 20. And it was just like, here, just keep doing what you're doing. And when the bartenders are jamming to whenever I'm playing, that's awesome. So this is going to continue. Party's going to continue. Shout out to the bartenders at West End. You guys were awesome. Shout out to everybody there that made it such a cool place to play for so many years. If you want to see me for the last time at West End in my residency on Saturday nights, you got to go tomorrow. Saturday the 1st. It'll be my last time, the last hurrah. I want to play a bunch of stuff. I'm going to play some stuff that I haven't played and that I've been wanting to play, that I just got. So it's going to be really cool. With that said, you know what? Let's just do the food review now.
So I went on to do show prep for the Sanford Sitdown, and I made a mistake. I forgot to do a food review this week. So I decided I'm going to go to Old Faithful. And Old Faithful, for me, is hot Asian buns. Right next door to West End, where I'm DJing for the last time on August 1st, on Saturday. So hot Asian buns is literally the best bao buns, I'm going to say in Florida, but at the very least Central Florida. They are dangerously close to my house.
We're going to test the water resistance of the microphone and the GoPro here.
They spotted me. I remember when this place was an empty lot, convenience store, and now this place is really cool. Check it out.
Really cool art.
Yeah, so they're probably thinking, wait, he didn't order. It's because I want to do the whole thing. I get the whole experience, you know?
Hi. Korean fried chicken. 2 of those. One with garlic soy and one regular. And then the pork belly confit. My mouth is watering right now thinking about this.
a little loud. We're really testing these DJI mics. So Hot Asian Buns started off as a food truck, and they were here so often during the food truck fiesta. They ended up getting just really popular. Like, you would have to get here early in order to get their buns. They are just that good. All right. I was just told they upgraded me to a combo, which is awesome. Sweet. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is awesome. Look at this. Okay, so this is the kimchi fries and the 2. See, normally I skip the kimchi fries because I do 3, but this time we're celebrating. All right, so here we go. The garlic. This is the one that my buddy Greg told me about. Oh my God. The thing about good food, it's like drugs. If you don't have it for a while and then you come back to it, oh my God. Like, it's been 3 weeks because Dr. Mahan told me not to eat too much fried food, but I'm making an exception today. But I've been good. I've been a good boy. I did my 10 miles, as you guys saw. Oh, it's so good. And the atmosphere is nice. This is my first time in, like, actually eating here. It's very nice. And now for the piece de resistance. Look at that. That's the kimchi fries with the pork belly confit and the regular Korean fried chicken. For somebody who likes kimchi, that's really good. Not a huge kimchi fan. It's very tasty. The flavors there's a lot of different flavors in here, which I like. And I wish the fries were more crunchy. I think I'd like it more if the fries were more crunchy. Holy crap, that was fantastic. 9.5 for the Korean fried chicken with garlic soy. 9 for the regular Korean fried chicken. And 7.5 for the kimchi fries. Back to you, Zwain, in the studio.
Hey, thank you, Zwain, on this treat. Hi. So stupid. So dumb. That was a great food review. Shout out to Hot Asian Buns. Best buns in Central, I'm going to say Florida, because I can't imagine Miami has. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, let's get to the politics stuff. I wanted to start off by getting something completely out of the way. I cut my teeth in conservative talk radio. And one of the things that I disliked the most, other than everything about the conservative talk radio industry, is the mudslinging. And the way that they mudsling, the way that they did that shit was just awful. And it was lazy, and it was just button pushing for the sake of clicks. And I came across a website which I'm not going to name because I don't think it's worth naming. And it was definitely an anti-Charles Davis website. And I was going to go through it and kind of like tell you why it's a crappy thing to do. But I think that would be giving it more credence and more legs than it needs to. And let me just say this. Number one, if you're using AI to build your website, at least mask it a little bit. And number two, because of the fact that it is an AI website, I question everything on it. And there's no way that I'm going to dig through that instead of just listening to the guy tell me, because let's face it, you can tell a lot of times when people are dancing around an issue, when people are flat out just lying to you. There's a lot of ways to tell that, and eventually, when you get to that point, you can make your decision. But definitely don't use an AI generated website to make your decision. Okay, that's a dumb thing to do. So anyway, with that said, let's get started with these candidates. Angie Nixon, she is running against Alex Vindman, and I'm definitely leaning towards Angie. Just briefly going through her site. Well, I mean, number one, I don't like that every site has these campaign. Like, I understand it's part of the game. Take me to dinner first, man. All right, Angie? Jesus. All right. Anyway, but I am kind of leaning towards her. I'm weary. Here's the reason why also. I'm weary. This is Angie's website, right? And, hardworking people deserve every opportunity, financial, blah, 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 affordability, that kind of a message, right? And then we look at Alex. Again, another one. See, both of them do this. Both of them did this. I don't like it. But Okay, this just screams I was in the military. And when people do this, when people make the military kind of like their identity or their thing, it automatically turns me off. Because the thing is, I come from a family that has military. I come from a family that's also evangelical. I am a former evangelical. So I have a bad taste in my mouth when people use that as an in. And that automatically, when I see that, I'm just like, you're using a good guy card to try to get to me, and I don't like it. So that's one of the reasons. This is my view on very briefly looking at their websites. I'm going to be doing more digging, but I am telling you what I think of these people, of these people's websites and their campaign in general. So take that as you will. I'm not telling you who to vote for. Yeah. So Alex Vindman, whatever. All right. So Bale. The next one is Bale Dalton and Alan Grayson and Marialana Kinter. That's the race for Congress District 7. Now, I spoke to Bale briefly at the hobnob that they held over at the Decision Technical, and he seemed all right. I think he was. I'm unsure. I'm unsure on whether or not he knew who I was, because he acted like he knew me only after somebody said hi to me and mentioned the Sanford Sitdown. So, but then again, nice enough dude. So, also my buddy in Colorado has a message for Bale, and that is that he hasn't lived in Sanford for years, so stop sending him stuff. I will say I'm not voting for Alan Grayson. Marialana Kinter, I spoke to her briefly, and I will say she said the words that make my ears perk up. Specifically, I'm the only one not taking PAC money. So I'll be doing a little more digging on this, but she definitely has. Anybody not taking any PAC money has a huge head start. Like, you're going to have some serious skeletons in your closet for me to, not like you. And she's also for universal health care, from what I understand. I'm going to dig more a little into that too, but I think from what we talked about, Marialana was also in the military. I think she was in the Navy, if I'm not mistaken. See, Alan Grayson, yeah, there's a tremendous need for somebody who blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no, thank you, Alan. Personally, not for me. Do what you want, but I'm not. And then, she was really cool. And we talked, and I think that she is probably going to be, like I said, I'm going to be doing a little bit more digging, but she is probably going to be the one I go with. So we'll see. We'll see. We have Governor and Lieutenant Governor Evelyn Castillo Bach, Thomas Elroy Fernandez, Dana Marie Foster, David Jolly, Gwen Graham, Dottie Joseph, and Stefan Norman. There's a lot of people running for this. Well, I guess it's Governor and Lieutenant Governor. So I guess, but one of them, Gwen Graham, and David Jolly only had one bubble, so you could only fill out one bubble. So I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll figure it out. Either way, let's take a look at Evelyn. Evelyn for Florida governor. Now, she has a lot of things that she mentions on the site, but I can't immediately see the responses to those issues. Like, she mentions those issues, like she recognizes they exist, but I don't see anything like housing, like none of this stuff. And then here, well, let's see here. Espanol, news reports, videos, where I stand. I guess we could go to about being soft on crime. It's about being accountable. So like, she does have some stuff. It's not on the front page. So it was kind of like, I just kind of saw that and didn't really, but like I said, doing a little bit more digging, because that is what we do. Thomas's website isn't much better. It's actually it's not great. It's not good, because Evelyn has actual things where she stands in a different area. I wish it would have been, there were a little bit more blurbs in the front, but that's fine. Thomas's website is literally a brief about saying that he's a Cuban-born U.S. veteran with his contact info, including his Spotify. Hold on a second. That's right. No, it's not a Spotify. It's not a Spotify. It's a Suno. This dude, never mind. It's taking too long. If I find it, I'll probably post it, but holy crap, dude. This is Dana Marie Foster. Is this who's this? Yeah, Foster for Florida. Here we go. See, this is what I'm talking about. She's got 6 policy pillars that she wants to fight for. Economic opportunity for working Floridians, affordable housing, health care, and work for all, which is not the health care that works for all, which is not the same as health care for all. Or you would just say it because it's less words. So I don't know. No human is illegal, and immigrants make us stronger, and no human is illegal. I can get behind that. Gun reform for a safer tomorrow. Protect and fully fund public education. Yes, I love it. So far, I mean, she has spoken out the things that really speak to me personally. Anyway, so here we go. Next, we have Gwen Graham. Gwen Graham started as PTA president, and then she went on to represent Florida's 2nd Congressional District. That's a hell of a leap. I mean, there's a bunch of... You could read up more on her later, but she opposes drilling in the Gulf, which I'm about. So, there is that. So, all right. And then we have Dottie Joseph next. We have Dottie Joseph. Her issues seem to be affordability, government accountability, and education and climate. So I like all of these, so that's fine. But they're Democrats. Everybody's gonna be a Democrat on my thing. So what are you gonna do? Her issues are fine. So let's see what we can do with that. And then we got this guy, Forward with Fam. Forward spelled PH. Stephen Norman. Fan Norman. Now the slogan is forward with fan with a PH. He doesn't have a ton of specific information about his policies or anything that he's about. It just says that it's a new era of leadership and that with God all things are possible. I'm sorry, man, but I'm going to need more than that. I can't go with just pick me and trust God. Like I can't do that. Sorry, buddy. All right, so next we have for Chief Financial Officer, Earl Ford. He talks a lot about his military service and family, which again is about par for the course. His site states that he was Army infantry. He served as a federal IRS lawyer, and he wants to bring accountability to state government. So, that's cool. Again, with these pop-ups, man. Jesus. So his opponent is Annette Taddeo. And she was the first Latina Democrat to be elected to the Florida State Senate. She won a special election that turned a Trump district from red to blue. I don't hate that. I'm going to see what we can do about that. Waka Flocka surveillance. Bane on the Facebook chat. Who do we have next? We have Joey Mendoza for Commissioner of Agriculture. I think I like this guy. If it's this is the guy that I think is good. On his website, he says some of his proudest moments were legally defending farm workers and DACA recipients. So I like that. His opponent, Don Pritchard, has a LinkedIn page. See, guys like this with just a LinkedIn page kind of scare me. They scare me a little because if they win, it's like, why? How? And the answer is usually back-end deals. So I'm not saying that this guy is one of those guys, but I'm just having a LinkedIn page in your Ballotpedia page is not great no matter how you slice it. It's either you have it so much in the bag and you're just like, yeah, just throw my LinkedIn up there. Or you just phoning it in is not even, you're emailing it in. You're not even phoning it in. All right, next we have State Senator District 10, H. Alexander Duncan. He's another candidate talking about affordability, infrastructure, education, and affordable property insurance. That's good. I'm down with that, so we'll see. He's going to be somebody I definitely look into more. John Lundis. I don't know how to say his name. At least it's not a pop-up. See, it's the first thing down there, but at least it's not a pop-up of like, give me some money. All right, so John is the Maitland mayor and a native Central Floridian. He says he's running to... I feel like I should have like game show music. You know what? I'm going to do that in post. He says he's running to bring the same practical solutions that he's used in Maitland to Tallahassee. Okay. Cool. Godspeed, John. We'll see. Circuit Judge 18th Judicial Circuit Group 4. We're getting real specific right now. Circuit Judge 18th Judicial Circuit Group 4. We got Larry Freeman, and other than a biography, a Reagan quote, and some general statements. I really don't know much about this guy from the site. His opponent, Robert Siegel, or Robert Segal, I don't know, maybe Segal? Robert Allen Siegel. I don't know much about Robert other than his whatever's on his site, but he doesn't have a Reagan quote, so that's a positive. Let's see here. Circuit Judge 18, Judicial Circuit Group 13, Andrea Font. She is a lifelong Brevard County resident and an attorney, and she's worked as a public defender. That seems qualified for a judge, I guess, right? Then we have, running against her is George Gaspard for Circuit Judge. And let's see here. He serves as legal counsel for the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. All right, guess we're going with Andrea. All right, County Judge Group 3. We have Sylvia Gruner. Another one of those judge websites that there isn't much there for me to really, well, judge. Very down to like on the middle type of website, much like most of these judge websites. So I really don't know. I mean, she seems like a nice lady, I guess. I don't, you know. So I'm gonna dig into her cases and stuff. She is running against Nathan Scop. Now, I've seen his signs around town, and he's got an MBA, a JD, and a BS in aerospace engineering. What a nerd. Just kidding. That's a good thing. We like nerds. But again, his website is very vague. Like, very vague. Like, you know, what do you want to do? I mean, it's a judge's site. I mean, that's the thing about judges' races too. There's not a lot of meat in the narrative bone of this of these races most of the time, unless they've done something completely notable or completely crazy. So that's kind of the way that fleshes out, right? Next we have County Court Judge Group 6, Elena Chabon. Her and her husband started a law firm in Seminole County in 2020. She's done volunteer work for children, and she assures us that this is not a campaign stop for her, that it is her home. I like that. I like people that are committed to the area. She is running against Wayne Culver. Wayne Culver is currently a judge, and he wants you to know that he didn't grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's a graduate, UCF graduate, I hope a graduate, a UCF graduate, and worked at Costco at one time for their tire department. Guess he's a car guy. Again, these websites tell you very little about what they actually stand for, and that's usually on purpose, you know? That's usually on purpose. Mr. Eric Swank. I think I've met him a couple times, and I think around town we have some mutuals and that kind of thing. He's a member of the Rotary in Lake Mary. He's been a board member of the Central Florida Zoo, which I like, and other org. You can check out his website. Yeah, he's very... one of the things that, like, really successful candidates are doing is, like, they really marry their color. If you look at Christina, she is all about that purple. And when I see this yellow, I almost think of him because of the fact that it's, you know, it's all over his sign. Same with the SCOP sign. SCOP? That sounded like I said stop sign. The SCOP sign. No, I'm not stoned. Shut up. All right, so next we have School Board Member District 1, Christine Kraus. She's a former school teacher, currently a Seminole County School Board member, and a former preschool teacher. I do like that she has good knowledge of the position. I feel like that's important. She's helped secure millions in funding to expand career and tech education, so definitely check out her site. And actually, the guy with the funnest name in this entire campaign, Mr. Antonio Pizza. I swear to God, that's the guy's name, and that's him. Antonio Pizza, guys. Pizza, guys. Anyway, so, easily the best name for any race. Antonio Pizza is amazing. The only thing that I would note is that when I Googled Antonio Pizza, every Anthony's Pizza location in the world showed up. So the vision is apparently saving taxpayer money. Please cut the COVID era learning. That gives me some pause. distraction-free education and ensuring a proper education for students. What does that mean? Yes, obviously, that's going to be your job. You're telling me what your job is, Pizza. Come on, Pizza. Okay, the way he smiles, it makes me feel like it's like a Tim and Eric bit. The smile is a Tim and Eric smile. But anyway, Antonio Pizza, love the name. I love that you know what the position is supposed to be doing, accomplishing. I just need more info, dude. And some of the things that you've said are not, like, increase the amount of students in school. So he's really against classes, online classes. And he keeps calling it COVID-era learning, as if we didn't have remote learning before that. I don't know. Also, he looks a bit young, but he might not be. Actually. I don't know. Either way, man. Just, I need to know a little more. But I like the name. I like the campaign. I think it's a fun website. And you in a tux with a bow. No notes. No notes. Joshua Meminger, and this is for School Board Member District 2. Former school resource officer, and he's running for Seminole County School Board member. He definitely, he was the resource officer thing is a big for him. Obviously, again, with the green, because it's, he was is it a sheriff or, he was Sanford PD. It's that green that screams, I am a police officer type thing. So yeah, so that's good. He is running against Holton Mills. And Holton Mills, Lake Mary boy. He's a fellow Ram, you see. A fellow Ram. So let's see here. Holton Mills, Seminole County public school graduate from Lake Mary High School, like yours truly. He worked for the Office of Communications for Seminole County Public Schools, and he now works as an account executive for Evoque Advertising. Awesome. Evoque or Evoke? Maybe Evoke. Maybe they're just spelling Evoke funny. Either way. Shout out to fellow Ram. I talk like I had any school spirit. I had zero school spirit growing up. Next, School Board Member District 5. And that is Autumn Garrick. Holy shit, Tina Fey is running. I didn't know Tina Fey was running. I'm voting for Tina Fey. She was elected in 2022 into the school board. She wants to expand advanced coursework, growing pathways to tech and aerospace careers. I like it. I like it. As long as they don't go into defense. We go into aerospace. Let's figure out, not to blow up each other, let's figure out how to, like explore space more. Do things like that. That's cool. Anyway, Autumn, is running against Brian Todd Newsom. He says that Seminole County students deserve a school board member that brings more than just promises to the table. A family man with a proven track record to lead. Why Brian? He's a devoted family man, a husband, blah, blah, blah. Those are not the reasons why. Well, I guess in that particular case, for that school board member, I guess, yeah. That works. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're going to go through the mayoral debate, the time that you've been waiting for, the mayoral debate between Christina Hollerbach and Charles Davis. I want to thank Sanford Main Street for organizing it and the Ritz for holding it. It was a great event. You guys knocked it out of the park. The event was necessary, man. The event was necessary, especially after we had the Q&A. That was kind of like that was a paid event because it was held by the Sanford Chamber. It just it was one of those situations. But it's good to have something that was sponsored. There was a list of sponsors. I don't have them in front of me, unfortunately, but they did great and they were awesome for the city. That was we really appreciate you. Yeah, so let's go check out what the mayor hopefuls had to say.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. and welcome to tonight's Sanford Mayoral debate. My name is Derek Daniels, and I'll be serving as your moderator tonight. So we're going to do it very simply. It's going to be an old school debate, simple format. We're going to have the candidates come out, do an open statement. They're going to get 2 minutes to talk about themselves, a little dissertation. Then we have 10 questions that we're going to ask them. And those questions, they're going to get 90 seconds to answer. And if there's a rebut, there is 45 seconds to 60 seconds to do so. We do have our timers in the house. Can I hear the timing? There we go. We are so high level on this morning. High tech all day long. With that said, there are some questions that the audience did send in. We screened them, and we will be talking about those towards the end of the evening. I did explain the ground rules to both candidates. Speak only when recognized. No interruptions, no personal attacks. That we encourage that very, very much. We don't want that to happen. Stay within your allotted time, or you will get. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that one. So without question, we're going to get this thing started. I'd like to bring to the stage right now both candidates, Mrs. Christina Hollaback and Mr. Charles Davis. Give them a round of applause. Now, before we get started, and as I explained to you guys, I explained to them earlier, the one thing that we wanted to make sure happens is that you get to see, hear, and feel the visions, the priorities, and the plans for the future of our city from these candidates. I ask that the candidates respect one another in this. I ask that you guys respect the audience, and I ask the audience to respect the candidates as well. Are we good with that? Yeah. Awesome. With that, we did not flip a coin, so I'm going to defer to the lady first. So, Ms. Christina Hollaback, you have 2 minutes. The floor is yours.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate so many people spending time with us here in downtown Sanford on a Tuesday. And, of course, our sponsors in Main Street putting on an event. Both of us thought it was really important, to have something public to the residents that was free to attend, because knowing what's going on in local politics is so important. I always joke about, especially doing canvassing, that, they'll ask me all these questions about federal stuff, happy to talk about it, but really, how many chickens can you have in your backyard? How do you feel about your easement? What's going on with your neighbors? Like, the local politics are things that matter to your day-to-day life, your quality of life. So that's what we really want to focus on. But I'll talk a little bit about myself, which is my least favorite thing to do. But Christina Hollaback, I've been in Sanford now for over 25 years. Our restaurant is actually celebrating its 25th anniversary this weekend, so we've been here a very long time. In that, we've gone from having 6 employees to 160. And when I left as CEO, actually almost exactly a year ago, we had 160 employees. So I'm used to managing large groups. I also joke about the hospitality. We are literally, employing people aged 16 to 70. So a very broad mix of lots of different people. We have to make sure they collaborate and understand culture in order to get something done. Regardless of my work with the family business, I've also loved Sanford for a long time and found a lot of passion and community service with both here at the Ritz Theater as a former president, Love Your Shorts Film Festival, the Sanford Rotary, the Sanford Women's Club, Leadership Seminole. Anytime there's an opportunity for me to get involved with an organization that has to do with arts and culture, with leadership, with entrepreneurship, I want to be involved and lend those skills to make sure that we're lifting up everyone around us. Because, the old adages about boats and the floating, that's real. It's not just, hey, I'm going to do great by myself, and I don't care if it's hurt along the way. That is not who we are. We want to lift everyone up with us. That's time. And I think that, okay, that's good. We want to lift everybody up. I thought it was going to be a
You're thinking about her. My time.
You're up.
Am I going? First off, thank you to Sanford Main Street for putting this together. Derek, thank you for emceeing it. My name is Charles Davis. I am a lifelong Sanford resident. I've got a beautiful family. My wife, Tiffany, my daughters, Brooke and Caroline are both here, sitting out there, supporting me. I have been, I like the terminology they use, Sanford. I always thought that was a neat term. Didn't come up with it, but I always thought it was a very cool term. And that's what I've done my entire life. I've been here, like I said, my entire life. I've served on countless boards. I started a small business. And when I say I started a small business, that last event we did, I had to clarify a little bit on that. And a small business to me is that I was not handed a business that was successful. I started from scratch with a gentleman named Bob Parcell who made a loan to me. I started with 0 customers. I was not even my first customer. And I built that to over 800 customers now. I've served on countless boards, the zoo board. I currently serve on the Seminole County Sheriff Community Foundation. I serve on the Seminole County Port Authority. I've served for the Chamber. And the one that I'm most proud of is the Sanford CRA, the Community Redevelopment District. I did that for 15 years. I was supposed to do 12, but I got a term, and then the commission was so nice to allow me to close it out. But in the 15 years, we have shaped the downtown. If anything that would be the best of my leadership style, it would be the CRA. I had a board, I had a budget, and we had to vote on things, and we had to get things done. We were tasked with making downtown great, and I think the CRA did that phenomenally. I do think that as a group that we need to continue moving forward with downtown and all of Sanford, and that is my goal as mayor.
That's good.
Time left on.
Yes. Oh, you're good? There you
I
go.
don't want to get called out.
No, you're fine. You don't want to hear the
A little problem when it comes to that.
All right. So we're going to jump right into it.
When I say time, they can finish their sentence.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it. And these questions, mind you, I just received the questions last night, so I actually, on purpose, did not really go through them because I want to be just as surprised as you are. And we're going to start. So the first question we have here, it's based on the 4-year goals and measurable goals, I should say, 4-year vision, measurable goals. What would Sanford, and this is directed to you, Charles, and then Christiane, you can follow up. What will Sanford look like 4 years from now if you are elected mayor? Please describe 3 specific measurable accomplishments that you hope to achieve by the end of your first term.
So by the end of my first term, some of it's already started. My first thing, the priority number 1 for me is changing our planning department. Our planning department is broken. If you are trying to build something in Sanford, if you are trying to develop something in Sanford, it is a continuous brick wall. My first goal with the help of the commission
I agree with him.
would be to cut the review time in half. For the one guy that wants to come in and actually pull a permit to put a fence up, he shouldn't have to wait 45 days to get that permit.
100%.
And changing to where we are welcoming people and we are helping them get to the finish line. Am I dying?
Yeah, you can't hear him.
We did a mic check on this and it wasn't working either.
It's always one mic.
So it's mine. Is that better?
Yes.
What didn't you hear? All of it? So my biggest thing right now is going to be the planning department. I truly believe that the planning department needs to welcome business. They say Sanford is open for business. I don't agree with that statement. We are not open for business, but we need to be open for business. We tend to push the good people away, and then we take what we get, and then we shake our heads and go, well, why do they do it this way? The second thing that I think we need to really focus on is the Lake Mary corridor. That is the last growth that is going to happen within Sanford. And if we don't do that right, we're going to end up with not what we wanted. There is an agreement right now with the county that anything that happens over in that corridor, they have to annex into the city. So we're building our tax base. And then we have to start looking at redevelopment. The 1792 corridor is really going to need to be redeveloped. And then we also need to look at our mall and making sure that that area out there. So for me, it's going to also be changing how City Hall carries and how they carry themselves of taking care of the customer. And I think they've forgotten who the customer is, and the customer is a citizen.
Can we stop calling us customers? We're constituents.
Pushing 27 buttons to get a voicemail. That's got to stop. We have to make ourselves customer friendly.
We are constituents. We are not customers. You're our boss. We are your bosses.
Actually, it's 4. I'm going to go with 4. But the marina is very important to me. I think we need to take the marina back. I think we need to get the boat slips done. I think we need to get that going up and running. That is a jewel. I always tease Altamont. Altamont took a retention pond and turned it into a waterfront. We have a waterfront that we're not capitalizing on, and that is something I need to do.
That's done. Christina, same question. Would you like me to read it again?
We are constituents.
No, fine, thank you. For me, in my terms, the measurables that I would really like to see is definitely our infrastructure issues, water quality,
yes,
of our plants, the smell that we all experience. Those are things that are going to continue to get worse as the city expands and grows. That's already happening where it can't handle what we have now.
Correct.
So a huge focus on making sure that department has what it needs and like key performance indicators, and bringing some of those business principles to a commission where what is our dashboard right now? How many of these cases do we have open? What is the maintenance strategy? There needs to be an emphasis on how we're maintaining and rebuilding our infrastructure, especially with water. For me, it was also planning. I am consulting right now other businesses, and I lost a client because they have been in the process for 2 years trying to get stuff done. Oh, we forgot those comments. Oh, we didn't tell you needed that. Oh, by the way, you also need this. It's unbelievable what they put both businesses and residents through to get very basic things done.
Agreed.
So again, a gut of that department, both operationally and in systems, to make sure that we're serving our residents and our business owners so that we have a city that we're proud of, that we can function in, that we can thrive and build, even as cliche as it is, an American dream. And then 3, I would love to see a difference in culture. That's one of the hardest things to build and change, but I want a yes if instead of a no because. When you go down to City Hall, I don't want us versus them thinking. I want collaborative partners that are here to work with our residents and our business owners to build a better Sanford that we can all be proud of.
Thank you. And Christina, go ahead and keep going with the second question. Can you guys hear me okay with this mic? You gotta talk up. Charles' inner voice.
I'm speaking up.
Okay.
I had a bad mic.
All right, supporting small businesses, Christina. Small businesses are a driving force behind Sanford's local economy and community character. Beyond general economic growth, what concrete actions will your administration take to support, retain, and attract small businesses across the entire city?
As we both indicated, the way we are open for business is a gross understatement. I think not only changing those systems and changing the culture, but some real incentive programs and changing the reputation. Like, we have contractors that put surcharges on having work done in Sanford because they know it's going to be difficult. We have to work a lot with marketing and communications to change our reputation in the contractor and business community to make sure that not only are we making the systems and the culture easy to operate within the city, but that we are getting the best of the best. When we have these developments and we have these new houses that want to get built, I want the best people in Central Florida working on these jobs, and right now they are avoiding us. So to me, it's a clear marketing strategy as well to let everyone know that change has come and that we are ready to accept these new partners. And I think that's what Sanford needs more than anything right now, is someone who can build and collaborate with other people to make sure that we have the systems to support the Sanford that we want to see.
Hear, hear.
Thank you. Charles?
Small business is here. They just can't get a permit to open. That's what we need to change. We need to make it easier for them to get a permit. There's a thing right now that if the building's been vacant, I think it's for more than 90 days, they'd have to go back through the process of getting in there. Even if there's the same type of business, we are not making it easy for businesses to come in here. They want to come here. If you look out off the St. John's Parkway, we have a huge manufacturing area. Most people don't realize that. They're not coming here because we're making it easy. We're coming here because we have what they want. If we make it easier, we will get more businesses to come in here. People dread coming to Sanford to work. Where my office is out on Reinhardt, the lot next door, I asked him, I said, why don't you guys develop that? He goes, I will never, ever do another building in Sanford. And they shouldn't say that. I've been in insurance for 25 years, 26 years now. Every time I insure a brand new building, the first question I ask is, how was your experience in Sanford? In 26 years, I've never gotten one person to say I enjoyed it. That has to change. You change that, and I promise you, small business will come.
Okay.
One clap.
That was a Jeb Bush moment.
This speaks to the next. This question speaks to this. It also is the second one. It's about permitting. Many business owners and residents interact with the city primarily through building permits, zoning requests, and code enforcement. What is your assessment of Sanford's current permitting process, and what specific improvements would you implement to make it faster and more user-friendly?
So, as I stated earlier, our permitting process is terrible. If you're trying to open up a golf cart place,
it sounds like he's dancing around the issue.
Run into a continuous brick wall. Really, you have to change. I hate to say the culture, but you really need to change the people and the way people think in those departments. The first
change
time
the
you come
people.
in,
Now we're talking.
You can't do it, and then when they finally get one reason why you can, excuse me, why they do one reason why you can, then they drag it out for 2 years. A business does not have the capability of spending 6 months to a year opening. Most of the time they're on a loan or something along those lines. And the only way we're going to change that is to change the way it's thinking. And first off, you need to change the procedures. You need to change the timeline.
The people,
and you need to get
or the
people in
person,
City Hall working 5
at
days
least
a
one.
week. It'd be amazing if they were there from 8:30 to 5 every single day, how much work could get done. Those are the main things that I think need to be changed.
Well, I think of late, I think they did change their hours.
You know, I mean, that's great to throw that out there, but they're still working 410s. And so if you need to talk to Bob Smith on a Friday, or excuse me, a Wednesday, and his day off is Wednesday, they're going to tell you to call on Thursday. So
Is it just me, or did the city start getting more active after that
How many
Q&A?
people out there raise their hands work more than 5 days a week? I can tell you I do. Everybody does. City Hall should as well.
I feel like the city.
Christina?
I feel like the city has gotten.
We've obviously identified that permitting is an issue that's affecting a lot of people, and
Yeah,
what
thank
we
you.
can do about it. But I think the more important
That was a
thing
great way to say it.
about why
I
it's
know.
broken. Try to say it in the nicest way possible. I am so frustrated that we paid a consultant upwards of $100,000 to tell them that the permitting problem was broken. And they were supposed to present that in December, and it is now August, basically, and we still have not seen that presentation. But to me, it's like, okay, like we're all great at identifying the problem, but when it comes to taking the actionable steps to fix it, Sanford falls off the map. So we come down in pitchforks, we go, hey, it's broken, and then the city goes, okay, we're gonna hire a consultant, we're gonna fix it, and then we all calm down because we have lives, and they don't do anything. That's what needs to change. It's not just identifying that's an issue, but if we're going to pay this consultant, then what did that plan look like? What steps were in there that we already paid for that we haven't done yet? And like I said, there are already changes occurring in the building department just by Charles and I publicly talking about it. So I'm so glad to see that these conversations are occurring, because it's putting pressure on the city to be accountable.
Yeah, because they know their time is up.
Yeah, one thing that is kind of, but you talk about the plan. Apparently the plan has come out because there have been some changes that have happened from that plan, but the transparency part of it, we haven't seen the plan. So we need to see the plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shifting on to golf carts. Golf carts seem to be a big issue around here. Sanford has definitely embraced its identity with the golf cart community. What is your view on Sanford's golf cart culture, and do you support expanding golf cart approved zones in addition to other residential, I can go with you, Charles, other residential neighborhoods, or commercial corridors? How do you feel about that?
You don't love a golf cart. I mean, you go anywhere. Go to New Smyrna Beach. We go over there. I get on my golf cart. I ride everywhere. Down here, everywhere. My daughter runs around on the golf cart, even though she's illegal doing it, but she still does it.
What?
Who doesn't like golf carts? It should be expanded. It seems to be.
Did you just admit to doing illegal shit on the fucking debate, dude?
Are taking over now, and the vehicle is not the normal one. And now we've got electric bike, e-bikes. They're talking about should they be able to ride in the school.
I'm not
You go down the road,
anyway.
and you got a little guy on a little scooter doing 35, 40 miles an hour blowing by you while you're sitting at the red light. He's zipping on down. So I think it needs to be expanded. I do agree that crossing major highways needs to be looked at, but I think you need to figure out a way to do it. And I think all neighborhoods should be able to take their golf carts out. For me personally, I mean, we just had golf carts.
Did he just gloss over breaking the law? I mean, I don't want to be the bootlicker because I'm not, but
Christina's sign on the back.
all right, isn't he supposed to be the
I
guy?
get my kids to put my sign on there. I keep begging, but they don't do it. But realistically, I think it should be expanded, and I think every neighborhood should be able to take advantage of that.
Christine?
I love our golf cart community, obviously, and past golf cart owner myself, and love going to our many events that we have that also raise money for things like Porch Fest. So when we turn a transportation, luxury into a way to fund things that we love, like what is more Sanford than that? I hate going back to it over and over again, but yes, if instead of no, because. When a group of people that have proven that they've been responsible and done a good job educating each other about golf cart safety and where those lines are, we should reward that effort within our city and make sure that we have safe crosswalks and addition areas that make our city more traversable in a safe way. So when those kind of groups have done the research and looked around and tried to find solutions and bring it to the city, and the city goes, oh, that's nice, maybe I'll think about it, and here we are a year later still without a safe way to cross certain intersections. So when we have these private entities that are willing to put in the volunteer hours to do research, expand it, make it safe, educate people, be a partner with the city about that communication, we should work with them and not against them to make sure we're expanding things in a safe way that's honoring the culture that's already present here in Sanford.
Thank you. I just have a question. I know we talk about safety on the sidewalks and building a little infrastructure around golf carts, but how do you feel about golf carts being held to the same safety standard as a regular automobile?
For parking.
Parking, age limit on driving, seat belts.
Age limit in driving, Charles.
Go ahead, Chris. You just
So I've done a little research on it. So realistically, right now, if you are 15 years old with a restricted license and you're within an area that does not require to be an LSV, low-speed vehicle, a 15-year-old with a learner's permit can ride a golf cart around. I don't know if you noticed the golf cart only parking spots we put in by Peppi's, the CRA. Shout out to the CRA on that one. But you know, I don't
Nice
think
drop,
you can
dude.
hold
Nice
them
drop.
to the same safety standards as a vehicle, obviously. But I also don't think you're running them around where vehicles should be doing 50, 60 miles an hour. Right now, you got to be if it's a low-speed vehicle, it's got to be 35 miles an hour below. Where they're running pretty much in downtown Sanford, it's 25 miles an hour. I know they had an incident on Sanford Avenue a few weeks ago with a golf cart. That's going to happen, but I don't think you get away from doing it because of that. You know, there's probably more to that story.
I agree.
Know. But, you know, I don't think you try to hold them the same standard. Let's let people drive their golf cart. I mean, that's just pretty much it. Put a seatbelt on, add some blinkers and the headlights, and roll with it.
All right, Charles, you got me on that one.
And that's why I say yes if. And the if is important. So
Yeah.
if we have people that are doing the research, other cities that have experienced this, what ordinances they have. As long as we're communicating about safety and watching, you know, trends, I think that's where we do best, is just that continued collaboration of making sure things are safe and honoring the people that are there.
But we're doing it.
Yeah.
We started the trend. Let people follow us.
There you go. We're going to shift gears into arts and cultural events. This seems to be a sticking point now that the CRA has sunset, and they pretty much, for the great part, they held a great deal of sponsorship on a lot of events in the CRA district. With that said, arts, live music, festivals, cultural events have played a massive role in revitalizing Sanford and attracting visitors. How important are these programs to the city's future, identity, and should the city increase municipal funding and resources for them now that the CRA is sunset? Go ahead. Because you can.
Very passionate about this one. And actually, Main Street just held a meeting with city staff and other frequent special event applicants to continue that dialogue with the city. And we keep like running into your favorite things, brick walls. Yes, I think it's important. Yeah, that's cool that you guys do that. Other cities are, find what we have very desirable. But I don't feel that the city emphasizes funding and recognizes the economic impact that these kinds of arts and culture and special events have in our city.
Absolutely.
I sometimes feel that we are inconveniencing them by, making things more difficult, increasing traffic, doing these things. And yes, those are, residual effects of the special events. But there are so many good things that it does. Funding scholarships, taking care of pets and adoptions, bringing awareness to the arts and culture and our dance teams. There's so much community and life that happens to these special events. And usually the reason people choose to live here or want to move here or stay here because they are involved in these impacts. That's what makes community, that's what makes a city. And while there's other cities that, work tirelessly and fund hundreds of thousands of dollars to put on their own events, Sanford has a private sector that is like begging to do them for them, but we get very minimal support, especially now that the CRA is gone. Where is that funding going to come from? And that conversation we had was really healthy, but I think it all boils down to you can't argue with public safety, and there are things that happen at events that, increase the need for that. But if that's what it costs to put on an event, the city should be helping to fund some of those police costs because they're $40,000 for some of these events. Yes, I want to be safe, but I also want to make sure that the city does what I consider the bare minimums of relationship is infrastructure, water, sewage, and safety.
Yes.
So if they can chip in when we do special events, that would be a fantastic way for us to continue to move forward.
100%.
So let's be realistic. Special events are what built downtown Sanford. I can remember we were starting the group that started Alive After 5 back in the day. It was
Yeah.
Kim House, Steve Richards.
Shout out Alive After 5.
Started that, took it back from the city. It's because on Thursday night it was dead here, and special events have built Sanford, and they need to continue building Sanford. I did the Sanford Bike Fest, which was one of the largest special
The hell
events that
happened to me there?
Here. I'd love to see it get beat, but I mean, we were pulling 40,000 people in for that event for a 3-day weekend, and we built from that. You've got groups like Sanford Main Street, Paul Williams, a lot of them that have built onto that. But if you don't have special events, if you don't have arts and culture, you will not have a downtown.
I hope I
That's
fixed
what
that.
drives
I'm pretty
people
sure I
down
fixed
here.
that.
And, you know, as a CRA, and another shout out to the CRA, but you know, we put almost $500,000 over the last three or 4 years into art. You know, the fixtures, the seagulls up on the waterfront, all the stuff you see around here, the murals that we saw, because we knew how important it was. And Kim House, we really had to know how important it was. Kim House told me how important it was, and I had to follow her on that one. You know, I'm a car guy. I'm not an art guy, but I learned to love art, and I see what it brings to downtown. So I think the city, when we were sunsetting the CRA, I kept
You're not an
saying
art guy, huh?
I kept saying, guys, you
Get
got to
outta
figure
here.
out a plan for this. People are coming. You can't just tell them no. But the one thing I do think that we need to focus on as far as the city is city costs. I don't think we should be sponsored. I think we should find a way to cover some of the city costs to make events possible.
Okay. That pretty much is a perfect segue into my next question. And Charles, you can pick this one up. When it comes to municipal finances, should Sanford maintain the current tax structure, reduce taxes, or invest in, let's say, more city services? Specifically where the city budget would look like they want to trim the spending, but where would you increase it? Where would you cut it? How would you make that investment?
Are you talking millage rate, or are you talking budget in general?
Budget in general.
Budget in general. I think you have to go through the whole budget. I know that if I do get elected the first budget cycle, I don't really care what each department's budget comes to me. I want to see what they carry over. What's not being spent? What are we not spending to we're waiting to the end to say, okay, I need to spend this money now, and are we spending it the right way? The budget process for me, you know, even going to the millage rate, even with this tax vote coming down in November, a lot of municipalities don't know what they're doing. I'm sure we're going to be a little reactionary instead of a little proactive, but regardless of that, I think you can't take away cities.
That camera shot is really annoying me.
You can't take away police. You can't take away sewer. All those things you have to fund. But where you need to start looking into is where the other grants are going and what we're spending money on. CDG, the other stuff in there, are those working to the best of their abilities? Are what we're sponsoring as far as Sanford Main Street, the Sanford Chamber, which most people don't realize that the city covers a lot of those expenses to make those organizations work. You know, I think you have to take a look at Parks and Recs, which is now Leisure Services, and all those departments, and find out what is not being spent and what can be directed into other areas.
Thank you. Christine?
I do believe a holistic look at our budget in general would be nice. We've had the same people in leadership for a long time, and a lot of that's the way we've always done it thinking, especially as technology changes, that issues we're seeing in permitting and org structure. I think really looking at middle management and how many people we've got in a department is really important, and cross-utilizing that staff. So how much more can we get done if they're trained to do more things? So I think there's a lot that we can look at there that can have some budget savings. I would love to see us emphasize less consultants and more utilization and kind of staff.
Yes.
I think it's funny since I am a consultant now too, but like do it inside. You have talented people there, trust them to make the right decisions and know what's going on and make suggestions. I would love to see a look too at like what things can get outsourced that are cheaper, like managing event facilities like the Civic Center or certain Parks and Rec or landscaping duties that maybe we can partner with. Like I said, they have such an amazing group of volunteers here, public-private partnerships. You know, if we've already got the Heritage Council, there's so many names, the Heritage
Council,
the garden tour. Can we work with them to touch some of these areas and take care of this landscaping? Can we push our Adopts a Park program to make sure more people get invested in taking care of our areas? I mean, we have a huge city with an amazing park system, and it is a burden on the budget. How can we still have the things that we love and take pride in them without, you know, cost in the bank? So I think there's lots of ways to look at a budget in a different way from both a business perspective and from a public-private partnership perspective that could still keep all of the services that we love, especially in public safety, but also maintain the city in a way that makes us all invested.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do have a question, and Charles, you can actually follow up after Christina. But as mayor, which infrastructure project would be your highest priority, and how would you suggest to fund that? Would you do it through grants? Would you a lot of budget and special assessment? How would that happen? How would that look?
When you say infrastructure, obviously,
What would be your priority with respect to infrastructure? We have many issues with infrastructure, but what would be your priority?
I mean, obviously, right now it's going to be our utilities department, our sewer lines, and our water department. We need to modernize that. The last people that were in charge
Need to zoom out.
did patchwork, and we now have a gentleman in there that's truly a professional, and that's the problem the city does. We don't hire the best person for the job. We promote within so that person has that job, and you got to stop that. You cannot keep thinking that you're going to get a person that knows the job if they've never done the job. But I will give Norton some props on this, as he has hired somebody, Brian, in Public Works. He is working towards getting grants. He's working towards updating our systems, and you're seeing it. When was the last time you smelled the sewer plant? Compared to what it was, I'd say, 6 months, a year ago, you couldn't even drive down the road. I mean, we'd be driving, my kids would be like, Dad. I'd be like, it's not me. It's not me, but it's horrible. I had one person, Pools by Bradley, I don't even mind throwing this out there. Pools by Bradley wanted to buy the place across the street and move their business from Lake Mary to here. And she called me, she goes, what is this ungodly smell? And I said, well, that's our sewer plant. I said, there's a part broken. She was like, can't do it, sorry. And she goes, maybe get me into downtown. But we have to start fixing that. And that's the grants that we need to do for infrastructure. And if you wanted to go into things that you like, as far as things I would like to see, I'd love to see Fort Mellon Park finished out to that. I'd like to see some other things go in Fort Mellon Park. But my main infrastructure, we're making sure as mayor that we keep applying for the grants and the stuff that we need to make sure utilities, water, sewer, and all that keeps going up into the future.
Thank you. Christina?
I wish that I didn't know so much about vacuum systems and gravity systems and grease trap interceptors. But unfortunately, because of the lack of communication and urgency that the city has put on our infrastructure, I go now upon an expert. So I would love to change that where residents don't have to take time out of their lives to become experts to communicate with the city about a bare minimum infrastructure. So we have, our public works director. Unfortunately, I have a cell phone number because I have to call them all the time because things are always broken. And my frustration really comes from the fact that it's not even a funding issue. The money has already been allocated. It's already there. Why does an RFP take 4 years to get out before they took action and fixed things that they knew were broken? To me, it's urgency, and not just the budget department.
Yep.
Get me out, you have 3 stress.
Thank you. All right, Sanford operates under a commission manager form of government where the elected commissioner or commission sets policy and the appointed city manager handles day-to-day administration. How do you view the ideal working relationship between the mayor and the city manager, and how would you ensure efficiency and collaborative governance? Christina.
It's not a secret that I have struggled with our current city manager for quite some time. He's been in the role now for 10 plus years. I've had a lot of public petitions about requesting his resignation or retirement. I also say you can be a nice person and I can still think you're not good at your job because they're not mutually exclusive. So I would love to see better accountability there. I think that a relationship could look very positive if you just communicate with each other. I hate his poker face. You go down there, you tell him what all the issues are. I'm hearing what you say is blank, and I love that you're part of the business community. We're going to work on it. And we've been working on it ever since. So for me, it is changing that role to be someone who wants to work with all of the public-private partnerships we have in the city, that wants to work with our commissioners, that brings things into the light, that has those conversations at work session, that tells the commission things before they happen. We need to bridge that communication gap and that the policy versus action that we currently have with our commission and our city manager. And I don't think that Norton is the right person to move forward. So I would still be pushing for a change in leadership. Yeah, I always think,
Boom.
I keep running on a platform of termination, but we've already proven time and time again that trying to hold them accountable has not worked. And so I would love to clear the air, put out a really great marketing, video of the Sanford's here. We have all of these amazing things and all of these amazing people. We need to find the right city leadership to not think of this as a retirement job and come in and be our partners to make Sanford what we want to be.
If you've been paying attention and you watch any commission meetings, the direction that the commission seems to want to go in does not seem to what comes out of the city manager's office. As the mayor, I think you have to make sure that that message is getting conveyed and that what you want moving forward is getting passed down through the ranks. And I don't think that's happening right now. I'm a little different in it. I don't think attacking somebody is the way to go about something.
That's not attacking.
I just don't.
Oh my, yeah, look at the little bit of...
He's at the top, but he's not the only problem. There's a lot of problems that need to be fixed. You have to start there. I don't disagree with that. But I also feel that, like I said, it's the mayor's job and the commission's job that if the
that wasn't an attack
is not conveying the message and the direction you want the city to go in, then you replace that person. And that's just where we'll have to take a look at if I'm elected.
He wants to keep the guy. He wants to keep Bonaparte.
When you're elected.
Thank you. Here you go. Thank you.
Okay.
As Sanford continues
He wants to
grow,
keep him.
ensuring that all parts of the city benefit equally is a key priority for residents. How will you ensure that capital investment, public safety, resources, and infrastructure improvements are distributed fairly across the city of Sanford, not just downtown proper? Is that you can do it?
I am.
So, wait a minute. Our timekeepers, you guys, I think you fell asleep a couple of times. So I'll let you know. I'll just
We've let it go 15, 20 seconds.
Exactly.
There. You can't slow the roll,
Oh,
Derek.
I just wanted to know. You guys just fell on a little bit. All right, here we go. Go ahead, Charles. I'm
Just
sorry.
me? What was the question again? No. So most people look at Sanford as being downtown. I had the pleasure of serving on the CRM. If they keep throwing it out there, but I'm so proud of that. As a CRA, I was focused on downtown, but it's not that I haven't paid attention to the entire town. There are a lot of nice parks that most people don't talk about. There are, a lot of infrastructure that's out there that you don't talk about. There's a lot of neighborhoods that sometimes I think they might be like Mary more than they are Sanford. You need to reach out to all of them. I think the nice thing about it is that most of the infrastructure that's happening out in District 1 when you go towards the airport or District 3 and 4 when you get out into the newer sections, that's new infrastructure. The problems that we're having with infrastructure is the core, and that's going to be this area, District 1 within downtown Sanford, grease traps. We keep talking about grease traps. I think what we need to do as a city is understand that we have aging infrastructure within the historic district and older areas, and quit trying to hold them to the standards of new construction, because I think that's holding people up. And I think there has to be different guidelines that go for that to make it work great. Grease traps. How many restaurants that are downtown have had to fight for grease traps? Where are you going to put them? You got to go into an easement. What are you going to do? And trust me, Hope loves grease. I've never thought grease could be so cool, but apparently with her it is. But you have to work into certain areas to make sure that the infrastructure is going there. Our parks are out there. We keep them up, but you never talk about them. And so I probably forgot most of your question there, but because you threw me off there a little bit. But regardless of that, I think Sanford is more than just downtown, and you need to let other citizens know, which you can almost throw it out here. How many people in here are from the historic district or within 12 or 14 blocks from here? And that's the majority of the people that are the biggest voices and care most about the city. You need to get the other people to care just as much.
And in fairness, I was just actually, the question was more intended for infrastructure build across all aspects of the city of Sanford, not just the neighborhoods outlining the historic district or D1. It was just Sanford as a whole. That's all. How do we share those resources?
Yes.
Christine?
Yep, so like I said, Sanford obviously is bigger than downtown. We're the county seat. There's a lot of activity in a city center. So of course, when you want to know something, you go downtown, you start talking to people. But I think that there's so much more that's happening around our edges, and obviously history with Goldsboro, Georgetown. I love what the city has done too with Georgetown about and adding them to our historic preservation standards as well to preserve the history that's there, and also prevent builds that don't make sense within that cultural history. We also helped with Goldsboro Main Street as well. So the resources that we were giving to our downtown, we also started building those programs and Goldsboro Square as well, so that those resources are getting passed around. I'd love to see us talk more about the community block grant, make sure that people know those programs exist, because that's another problem too. It's like we're all good about patting ourselves on the back and saying you made this program, and then you look at the numbers and 12 people used it this year. So we need to make sure that even the resources that we had are getting marketed properly and getting out to the people who need them the most. But with what's happening at the airport as well, there's so many things that are all converging where Sanford makes sense. We have so much perks. I always joke about, I hate hearing we're a diamond in the rough, pick us up out of the grass and polish us, because we have all these wonderful assets and wonderful people.
Yep.
We need to make sure that we're communicating with each other, sharing resources, and bringing each other up so we can be proud of the Sanford we live together.
Thank you. Holding public office, as you know, requires a very thick skin and ability to listen. How would you handle public or political criticism, and can you provide an example from your past where listening to opposing feedback actually changed your mind or an issue that you were dealing with? I'll let you go, Charles.
Oh, I get this one first?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that's fine. But, there's been more opportunities. As serving my CRA, I had Theo Hollerbach and Josh Schneider on my board. If I said it was black, they said it was white. If I said it was salt, they said it was pepper. I have to be honest with you. When you're younger, I think you're more aggressive and you think you're the right way and you don't listen. As you get older and mature a little bit more, you do start listening. I can honestly tell you that majority of the grants, some of the parking areas that we did downtown, when I first put the idea out there, was pushed back on it. And rather than trying to stand my ground and say, no, we're going to do it my way or no way, I started listening. And for those of you who know me, you're going, he doesn't listen. But I really did. I started listening and I started paying attention to what they're saying. And I will tell you, the one thing that I've learned over the years is that being a bull in the China factory is not the best way, number one. Number two, if you listen to the opposing factors, 90% of the time, and I can only speak for this for the CRA, anytime Josh or Theo pushed back on me on anything, what came out on the back end of that was always 10 times better. And I respected them for that. I have to be honest with you, Theo, I see you sitting out there. When he first came on the board, I thought, oh, Lord, we're not getting anything done here. And it was actually a positive. It was a positive to have that. And I've learned over the years, for me, I have to have a little bit of that pushback. If not, I get focused on something, I start rolling with it, and my blinders are on. And getting that pushback helps me slow down, listen to people, and make a change that's for the better. And it's never not worked for me on that way.
May I have a quick rebuttal?
I can't speak.
You may have had Theo for one more meeting a month. I have had Theo since birth.
And I can feel your pain.
But in all seriousness, not just Theo challenging me to always be better and doing things differently, but that's what I talked about with hospitality. That is an industry where you are monitored by the public constantly. You are reviewed by the public on multiple platforms. Everybody is an expert in a restaurant, even though they've never operated one in their life. So that you have to be able to take feedback from everybody with a smile on your face. And sometimes, hey, it was just a bad day. There's nothing I could have done to fix it. It is what it is. But a lot of times in those reviews or in that opposition, there are always nuggets of truth of man, I could fix that. I could make that system better. So when I hear opposition or negative feedback or a different way of doing something, I never look at it like, oh, here they come again. I'm like, oh, please, thank you so much for being able to tell me something I couldn't see, bringing a perspective that I didn't have, because that's what makes you a better person. So I open criticism. I welcome it openly because it makes everybody better. It can always be a challenge. It's not necessarily easy to have uncomfortable conversations and navigate through those difficulties and differences, but it's what makes us better in the long run. I actually kind of miss that the presidency used to have, the vice president was the person who ran against you. Yes, it probably made things challenging, but I bet you they had great compromises on occasion because they're bringing two different viewpoints and making things better together as a system. So I welcome it, and that I got thick skin. There's nothing you can say to me that I have probably told myself, so I'm already ready for it.
Thank you so much. And to your point as well, just add that if you want to know criticism, run for office.
Yeah.
Because you get criticism.
Fair enough. All right, we're going to light this up real quick. So I'm going to need my time crew right here. 30 seconds. This is going to be real quick. It's going to be Christina, and it's going to be you, Charles.
Okay.
It's only you two on the stage anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
All right? It's going to be a lightning round. I'm going to ask several questions. You have 30 seconds each question, and then just move on. Christina, you ready?
Yep.
Favorite Sanford tradition?
Favorite Sanford tradition, sofa and suds. Couch racing.
Sofa and
It's
suds,
so
yes.
weird and fun, and I love it so much. Depends on the couch racing of it.
Sofa and suds, hell yeah.
Biggest challenge facing Sanford?
Still be?
Nope.
Biggest challenge what?
Facing Sanford.
I would say leadership vacuum of just this transition that's occurring both in nonprofit, private sector, this mass retirement. I feel like there's going to culturally be a lot of changes with technology and retirement that's going to lead all of us in an interesting place for now.
One word that describes your leadership.
Collaborative and actionable.
One word. That's two words.
Collaborative action is hyphenated. Germans love making compound words.
Biggest misconception about you?
Biggest misconception? If anyone thinks I'm normal, that would probably be the biggest misconception.
Nobody thinks you're normal, Christina.
Coffee or
We love
tea?
you.
I switched to tea. I'm a tea lady now. Sometimes with a shot of espresso if I'm feeling a little crazy.
Favorite Sanford restaurant?
That's not fair. I mean, like, yes, taller buns, blah, 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 but actually, I gotta throw it out to the current Sanford. I've been
The current. I want that blackened chicken, that blackened
What
mahi.
has influenced you the most?
Ooh, I just read Kate Mulgreve's biopic that she wrote about herself. You know, Captain Janeway from the Star Trek Voyager. It was fantastic. I love entertainment biographies, learning what motivates people, understanding actors, and I think actors are wonderful because
great
they
answer.
have to experience empathy in order to be good actors. So I just love their approach to the world.
One local issue keeping you up at night? One local issue keeping you up at night?
It has to be permitting because I've seen firsthand people that have lost their life savings waiting literally years to get open, and it breaks my heart.
Okay, Charles, you ready? You have 30 seconds.
Same questions or different questions?
Same question. I'm going to go backwards.
All right.
One local issue is keeping you up at night?
Permitting.
Favorite park in Sanford?
Favorite what?
Park.
Fort Mellon.
Copycat.
What book influenced you the most?
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
What? Seriously?
It's the only one I've read in a long time. You don't write the same thing.
Favorite
A
Sanford
big reader
restaurant?
guy, huh?
The district.
Neither am I.
Sorry. Coffee or tea? Tea. Biggest misconception about you?
I'm not approachable.
One word that
The laugh.
one word that describes your leadership style.
Success.
Biggest challenge
come
facing
on.
Sanford.
Biggest challenge facing Sanford is going to be changing how people look at us, changing the perception people have of Sanford. And that's the number one goal I will do as mayor, is change how people look at Sanford.
Good pivot. Good pivot.
Favorite Sanford tradition.
That's a tough. Bike Fest would have been it for me, but we haven't done it in a long time. But I really like the couch race. Though I haven't done it yet. I'm getting a little
Copycat.
older, thinking I might break a bone or something. My buddy Josh would give me a hard time if I fell again. But I love the couch race. I think that is unique.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's it for now. That's it for now. I do have a question. Well, I'm going to come back to this one. Actually, I'm going to throw this question out there. Voters hear many ideas during election season. If elected mayor, what is this one single concrete promise you are making to the residents sitting here tonight and beyond that voters can hold you accountable for throughout your entire term? I'll start with you, Christina.
The word that comes to mind is pride. I want people to, when they say, I'm from here, I'm starting a business here, I'm moving here, I don't want anyone to go, oh, why? I want them to go, oh man, that's so cool. Sanford is amazing. I've heard nothing but good things. I want people to feel pride in their city and be collaborative, be partners with us, because I know it's cliche, but it takes a village. And if we all have this vision and enthusiasm to take care of each other and have that mission of being pride in their own community, I think we'll be in a good place. And that's what I would like to instill the most in both our community and in City Hall.
Sure. I think the one thing that the voters could hold me accountable for is I will change the culture of City Hall. I will change how people look at Sanford. And I will work with developers to bring things into downtown.
And I will
hotels,
keep
whatever it is,
Bonaparte
to
on
Sanford
staff.
and get the best deal we can possibly get for us. We've never done that. Even with the Catalyst site or whatever, we're always throwing out there, begging them to do us a favor. We have a great area. We have an area that can be developed. We have an area that can change, and they need.
Who's
to
paying him to say
we don't need
that he'll
to give away
keep
the farm
Bonaparte?
to be successful. We need to get paid for the farm, and then let them make a little bit of money off of us.
This question I actually talked to you guys back in the green room, and this is something I thought would be endearing, to say the least. It's a candidate-to-candidate question, and the rules are as such. Each candidate may ask the other a question, a respectful question. And with that said, you get 30 minutes to ask. 30 minutes, absolutely. I'm glad you guys are paying attention. 30 seconds to ask, 90 seconds to answer. There are no interruptions, no follow-ups from the opposing candidate whatsoever. So with that said, I will defer to Ms. Christina Hollerback to ask said candidate any question you would like.
Yes, I am that nice.
Why have you not given up running for Sanford Mayor?
Oh, that's a good one. Because I believe in our city. I believe the change I will bring to City Hall will make a difference. And I truly believe that it's needed. That's a good question. I have to give you that. I was going to ask you for a free gift certificate to Willow Tree. But actually, I am going to come back a little more. My question to you is that regardless of the outcome of the race, and whoever wins, can we still work together to make Sanford successful?
Of course. And like even with the city manager, like just because I struggle with how hard it is to hold him accountable to the vision of the commission, that doesn't mean he's not still in my Rotary, a person that I can sit next to and have conversations, that I invite to our anniversary. You can still work together with people regardless of differences. And like I talked about, feedback from somebody else from a different background makes you better. I will always work for Sanford in any capacity.
Good answer.
Awesome. I like it. I worked better than I thought it would.
I'm a little nervous about that. No, it's good.
Yeah.
Closing question before I get to the last question I have that was sent in by a voter. Imagine it's 2031 and your term as mayor has ended. What do you hope the average resident will say about your leadership? Period.
Please run again. You did such a great job.
That was quick. That was good.
I would say that I hope somebody walks away going, we finally got that done, that we saw that difference, that the things that were frustrating us are removed, that I don't have that roadblock anymore. I don't have to give you, a preamble before you do something about what Sanford's like, that you just got to experience it without having all this preface. I think it's just so important that someone walks away from the term going, wow, I feel good about my city and I was able to get this done because she made those changes.
That's good.
I'm a sister about.
You can.
I don't understand.
With that said, this question was sent in to us. This is like you want. Hang on a second. I really got to get in this. How will your administration and Charles, you can start with this. How will your administration update your local zoning map to safely integrate golf carts as a viable, eco-friendly alternative for daily commuting and local commerce? Will you support expanding the current golf cart zone to connect residential neighborhoods directly to our main commercial districts and stores? Our golf cart infrastructure is a vital part of Sanford's local identity and economy, but our current map has safety gaps in completely landlocked neighborhoods, such as the 2019 removal of Mellonville. As mayor, will you commit to reversing the Mellonville exclusion and prioritizing and modernizing expanded golf cart maps that safely connect all residential neighborhoods to downtown and businesses? I'm not done. Mellonville Ave was safely included in the golf cart zone from 2013 to 2019 before being removed. Given its 25 miles per hour speed limit and its critical role in connecting the east side residents to local schools, parks, will your administration commit to reversing the 2019 decision to fully integrate Mellonville back into the golf cart map?
So I drive Mellonville every day, and I'm pretty sure nobody knows it's excluded. So if you're starting with that, I pass a golf cart every single day. But yes, of course, as we stated earlier in the conversation, I think within reason on certain highways like 1792 or something like that, there needs to be a pathway to allow every neighborhood to not only go from neighborhood to neighborhood, but come to downtown on their golf cart.
I agree with that.
It can be done. Obviously, first thing in office is I'm going to have to clean up so that we can actually get it through in less than 4 years. But after I've gotten that done, then of course we need to address that.
Yeah, city manager. Maybe start with that, buddy.
Because I see golf carts everywhere. I don't think anybody really pays attention to where the lines are. To be honest. And I ride my golf cart everywhere. I don't know what to say on that one. I've driven it all the way to the airport.
This guy's just, you're just snitching. Self-snitching.
This is live.
Christina?
Yes, I would love to repeal that. And like I said earlier, these are people who are doing the research, bringing other ordinances, talking about how many instances, taking people on tours to understand where those cut-throughs are. They've done the work. We need to honor that research and that time and make sure we're accommodating people. And even like the op assignment now used to be the Mayor Schaefer office, and back in the day they did a multimodal transportation grant. But they presented to the commission all these different ways that we can make our city more walkable, that increase these golf carts, to put, public murals out, to have our alleyways decorated. And the city, heard that and went, okay, cool. But the private sector was like, wow, that sounds awesome. And then we did do a lot of those things. And the CRA and the Public Art Commission did do some of those things. So when we have these conversations of looking at something different, it all goes back to actually making those actionable. And when we have collaborators in our city that want to make it safe and do it the right way to increase the walkability and quality of life in our city, then we should support those efforts.
There it is.
Right now, I want to take the time to thank both candidates for participating. I want to thank everyone in the audience for coming out tonight. Regardless of your views, I encourage every eligible resident in here and beyond to vote. An informed community is a stronger community. And I really believe in that. And with that said, I want to acknowledge the elected officials in the House tonight. Please stand up. Mr. Flom, Private. Thank you guys. Main Street, you want to come up and say some words? Paul, John, Alex. And we're good. You're good. I thank you too.
You never threw popcorn up there like you said you would.
I wish you luck, and I'm sure you guys can talk to either candidates after this, but get home safely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember, August 18th is voting, the primary, August 18th.
Closing statements.
Closing statements? You want closing statements?
Yes.
All right, stop, get back, sit back down. Come back.
Unless you're Christine's fan,
We have closing statements.
You forgot to say like and subscribe.
Like, subscribe.
Smash that like button.
Christina, we're going to let you go ahead and make a closing statement. We're going to do.
He did so well. Right
2
on the
minutes.
city end. Right on the city end.
2 minutes.
All right, I just want to thank you guys for coming too. A great way to follow me is electhollerboff.com. That's also me on Instagram and Facebook. Very approachable, love talking to people. There's even a link on my website that books you straight onto my calendar, either in person or virtual. I'd love to hear from you and get involved. I'd be so honored to be your mayor and so excited about getting the work done. I have spent, 25 years building and learning about culture and making people do a very difficult job but have fun while they're doing it.
Mhm.
If I can get a bunch of hospitality workers to be excited about selling schnitzel, I think I can get City Hall excited about serving the public again. But I'm so proud. I also want to challenge all of you guys, like you said, regardless of just our election, voter turnout is weak. Sanford's like less than 20% during the November election and closer to like 10 or 12% during the August 18th election. So because you took the time to be here and learn, I hope you're an advocate in your community to talk to people about making sure they actually go to the polls on August 18th. Your school board, your judges, your local, the things that affect your day-to-day are all in that election. So I've dubbed you advocates in your community to go out there and get people excited about local politics, and thank you so much for coming.
So early voting starts on August 8th. Vote by mail have already gone out. When we get to the polls on August 18th, 60% of the votes will be cast. So make sure your vote is heard. Most people, we will not be in the general election, we'll be in the primary. I want to thank, for number one, Sanford Main Street for putting this together. Thank you, sir. You always do a great job, even though you forgot about closing statements. We won't hold that against you.
It wasn't in my script.
We didn't have a script. And you had me nervous on the Steve Brown. So I just want to say one thing. The one thing that I keep hearing is that we all want the same goals. That is something that I have grown up watching Sanford do what Sanford does. And as mayor, I will make sure that we continue moving forward. I would be honored to have your vote. The best way to get a hold of me is I'm on social media. Charles for Sanford Mayor, Charles Davis for Mayor is our website. You can call me on my cell phone. Whether you support me or not, one of us is going to be your mayor. And regardless of that, we still have to work together. And that was like the way I answered the question I did. So the same question I'll ask you is, if I'm elected and you didn't support me, let's work together to make Sanford better.
Oh yeah. That was good.
Was it good? We're good. We're good. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.
That was a great way to end it. Yeah, so shout out to everybody there. Shout out to Derek. He did a great job emceeing the event. And yeah, this event was very much it was not as like catty. It was very friendly, even in the things that they disagreed with, which is great. Which is why I was talking about the website that popped up. That was some independent dork that put together an AI website. If there's anything substantial, I am, as a gambling man and knowing that AI makes mistakes, there are mistakes on that website. I promise you that. You should not be doing that kind of stuff. That is the type of mudslinging that we leave for the national races, not our local races, where we have people. I mean, these people are around us, man. Like you gotta be cordial to these people, and you're talking to somebody that pops off at the mouth quite a bit. Okay, so me telling you not to do that is like me telling you to calm down is something. It's consider the messenger is all I'm saying. Anyway, thank you so much for being a part of the show. My name is DJ Zwane. We'll do this all over again next month. This is the Sanford Sitdown. Make sure to follow me on social media at Sanford Sitdown and at DJ ZOUAIN on all social media. So follow me on everything on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. I just knocked off my phone. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the July edition of the Sanford Sitdown. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.